passion project. The turtle's not supposed to look like that. It's actually supposed to look more like... Just look like that. Looks like that up until just now. So I don't know what's going on with it. This is weird. Ma Remy's Reef Turtle. Okay. Buying the... What did I do? Buying the initial setup and your pet is kind of expensive for reptiles. What the heck is going on in the background? Are reef turtles good pets? Reef turtles are some of the most charismatic and inquisitive pet turtles available despite their lackluster appearance. They can be really fun to watch as swim around their enclosure, exploring various features, and are especially entertaining in groups. That said, as aquatic turtles, it's advised to only handle them when necessary. When picked up, they will squirm and try to bite or scratch. These aren't the type of pets that you can handle regularly, which may make them unsuitable for children who may grow bored of just watching them. Charismatic, exercising a compelling charm which inspires devotion in others. That is basically talking. People inquisitive, curious, or inquiring. Recommended basic products. Tank. Yeah. Where can you get one? You can get a Reef's Turtle at Big Al's, which I go to and recommend. You can also get a ton of other pets there, like axolotls. They're really cute. 16 minutes away. They also have like lots of stuff for pets, like water bowls and toys. PetSmart, 22 minutes away. And if you're mentally insane, there's Ontario Turtle Conversation Center, just 2 hours, 26 minutes away. These are all distance from the school. This is 3 hours from my house, so like it's even worse. I'm not at school, so I can't update this. So. Tank size. Reef's turtle needs an amount of space proportionate to its size to live happily. Tank with at least should have changed that. 60 centimeters in width should be good. The tank should also be tall enough to provide areas for the turtle to swim. Minimum height of around 30 centimeters should also be good. Health concerns. Here are a few of the main ones to look out for. Signs of good health. Getting a healthy specimen gives you the best possible start when keeping a reef turtle. Because they breed well, you should be able to find plenty of registered captive breeders. When going to look at the turtle, check for the following signs that can indicate potential health problems. A healthy reef turtle should have a nice, smooth shell. If there are any strange bumps, or if the shell looks like it's pyramiding, I can't find what that means, so. But I put a link to it. This can be a warning of metabolic bone disease. A flaking shell is also indicative of serious health conditions. Signs of good health continued. Make sure that the turtle is alert and has eyes that are clear and bright, with no clouding or mucus around the eyes or nostrils. Picking up the turtle should make it squirm and try to get away, which is a healthy response. The turtle should also be active and energetic in its enclosure. Always ask to watch the turtle eat. Healthy turtles should be eager for food. So if the turtle is reluctant to eat, it could mean that it has a serious health problem. Metabolic bone disease, metabolism, the chemical process that occurs within a living organism in order to maintain life. I don't know how helpful that was for you, but it wasn't helpful for me. Metabolic bone disease is a common and debilitating problem for turtles. This happens when the turtle doesn't get enough UVB light, making it unable to efficiently produce the vitamin D needed to absorb calcium. This causes the bone structure of the turtle to deteriorate and grow abnormally. If you spot irregular bumps on the skin or signs of pyramiding, your turtle may be experiencing metabolic bone disease. Other indications of this condition include eye irritation or strange open cuts on the skin. Respiratory infections. Respiratory infections can become a problem if the humidity and temperature of an enclosure is too low for a Reeves turtle. Symptoms include lethargic movement, nasal or nose mucus, watery eyes, and an unwillingness to eat. Lethargy is a lack of energy and enthusiasm. Respiratory infections. Parasites and bacteria may also cause symptoms, such as lethargic movement, nasal or nose mucus, watery eyes, and unwillingness to eat. They can be indicated by tiny worm-like creatures in the water of the tank. Regularly filter water to reduce the likelihood of this. We had a problem with these worms in nuggets and bearded dragons. Water bowl, and the worms kept coming back after I kept dumping the water, so I just sprayed out water bowl with like vinegar and wiped it down, and then that seemed to fix it. Some more pictures. Final miscellaneous health concerns. While swimming around a tank that has any rocks or equipment with sharp corners, reef turtles may accidentally harm themselves, causing small cuts or scratches. Avoid sharp edges in the enclosure whenever possible, as cuts can become infected quickly in poor water quality. Communal groups of reef turtles may occasionally squabble, which I'm assuming means fight, but not usually enough to cause injuries. If one or more individuals are fighting repeatedly and causing damage to other turtles, remove them from the enclosure. Your turtle seems to be suffering from any of these symptoms listed in any part of the health section. A specialist should say see a specialist vet right away. Cleaning. Reef turtles need clean water. Do this through a combination of filters, water changes, and cleaning. That shouldn't be under here. The aquatic section of the tank should be cycled by a good quality filtration system. Reef turtles are small, so a submersible or canister filter can work well as long as they can't hurt themselves if they swim into it. As with any aquatic setup, use a filter that can process at least 3 times the water capacity of your tank. So for a 50-gallon or 189 liter tank, you'll need a filter that can cycle 567 liters. You should also make partial water changes once a week to keep the tank clean. Change about a quarter to 2/3 the water each time, once every month or so. Empty the tank and give it a thorough cleaning. This prevents the buildup of harmful bacteria and the worms that we discussed earlier. Not using a substrate in the tank helps keep things much cleaner. These turtles tend to be messy at mealtime. If you got live plants in the tank, they will create a mess with these quite often. Consider scooping them out and feeding them in a separate container with a shallow amount of water to prevent a mess in the tank. Substrate, an underlying substance or layer, surface or material on or from which an organism lives, grows, or obtains its nourishment. So for nugget, my bearded dragon, I just use newspaper. That sand would be an example of a substrate as well. Substrate. Okay, this wasn't over here before. Having a substrate in an aquatic tank is not necessarily needed. While some owners like the natural look, using something like sand or gravel can be more trouble than it's worth. Sand makes it much harder to clean the tank efficiently, while gravel that is too small can easily be swallowed by turtles, causing impaction. Your reef turtle will be perfectly happy if you use a bare bottom tank with no substrate. However, if you really want to use something to make the tank look more natural, just get some large flat rocks put along the bottom of the water area. These can be easily removed and cleaned from the tank without any risk. Why is everything overlapping? Odd. Temperature. When caring for an aquatic turtle, you need to keep track of 3 main temperatures. The use of thermometers. Ambient air temperature, so just temperature in the tank. I guess like just the water temperature and the basking spot temperature. The water temperature for a reef turtle needs to be kept at around 21 to 26.5 Celsius. If your room doesn't create this temperature naturally, a small submersible water heater can be used to achieve the correct temperature. Ambient air temperature should remain between 24 to 29.5, and the basking spot needs temperatures of 29.5 to 35 Celsius. Temperatures reflect the warm, humid conditions of a reef turtle's natural environment in Asia. So if you didn't know, reptiles can't create their own body heat. So humidity. In aquatic turtle tanks, the humidity needs are usually provided by the water area of the enclosure. However, you can use a hydrometer to make sure that humidity stays around 70 to 90% humidity inside the tank. High humidity is especially important for hatchlings to support healthy growth. That's a lot of humidity. Lighting. Reef turtles need both a basking lamp and a UVB bulb. Both can be put in the same fixing above the basking area, or you can use a mercury vapor bulb. What are mercury vapor bulbs for reptiles? Reptile systems mercury vapors provide UVA and UVB for reptiles, aiding vision as well as the production of vitamin D3, which is essential in synthesis calcium for healthy bones, thus reducing risk of metabolic bone disease. MBD. What does UVB stand for? What about UVA? UVB, ultraviolet B, has a shorter wavelength. It is associated with skin burning. Like other reptiles, reef turtles need daily exposure to UVB light to produce vital nutrients such as vitamin D3, which allows them to absorb the calcium needed for healthy bone structure. UVB bulbs need to be replaced every 6 months to provide the optimum amount of UVB. Any lights used in the enclosure should be kept on a 12-hour day/night cycle to replicate a natural day. The day-night timer is good. It's good for any reptile plant. I use it for my lizard as well. Accessories. To create a more enriching environment for your reef turtle, you can add a few accessories into the tank. Basking platforms in the form of flat rocks, driftwood, or specially made basking ramps are an essential accessory. It's also a good idea to provide artificial or live aquatic plants in the tank, although live plants will likely be quickly chewed up by these turtles. Take the artificial ones out if your turtle's eating them. So you don't want your turtle eating fake plants. Another important accessory is some form of underwater shelter to give your turtle somewhere to hide. This can be as simple as a large aquarium cave ornament. You can also use an arrangement of rocks, but make sure that these can't collapse and hurt your turtle. It's harder than you think to make your thing with rocks and not have it fall. Turtles. Live aquatic plants for turtles. Pretty sure I linked this in the picture, but can't remember. Coontail Leptochilus tropus. Wow. Duckweed, Java moss, waterweeds, Anabaeus, water lettuce, Echinodorus grisbachi. Next slide. Those are hard to pronounce. Is that like a scientific name or something? What do reef turtles eat? The reef turtle will eat a range of aquatic foods, meats, products, and live food. They can also be fed dried foods when the fresh or live options are not available. Dried food should be created with shrimp or meat protein rather than vegetation. So for nugget, I just get a container of dried mealworms, or freeze-dried mealworms. Feeding. Reef turtles are omnivores and need a varied diet of both protein and vegetation to stay healthy. The adults will feed more on vegetation, while a hatchling/juvenile will feed more on meat. It's the same thing for bearded dragons. So nugget refuses to eat fruits and vegetables for some reason. In the wild, they will eat small amphibians or fish, insects and worms along with plant material. In captivity, the foundation of a good diet can come in the form of commercial turtle pellets. To make the healthiest choice for your turtle, pick a product that has around 30 to 40% protein content. As little as fat as possible, plenty of vitamin D, and a calcium phosphate balance of 2 to 1. To supplement this dietary staple, use insects such as crickets, dubia roaches, or mealworms along with plenty of vegetables. Avoid high oxalate foods such as spinach, things like romaine and water lettuce, or aquatic plants like duckweed work really well too. Being continued. Here's a list of common foods that are here. Aquatic snails, black soldier fly larvae, bloodworms, canned snails, catfish diet, cockles, collard greens, commercial turtle pellets, crickets, dandelion greens, baby roaches, earthworms, peterfish, krill, mealworms, mustard greens, romaine, red leaf lettuce, and shrimp. Being continued. Supplements are also key to a healthy diet. Buy gut-loaded insects and cover them with calcium supplements once per week. Just cover insects for a nugget. I grab an empty peanut butter jar, just sprinkle some powder inside, and then you put the crickets or whatever inside, and kind of just shake it up, kind of gently, like not roughly, but not like gently necessarily either. Adult reef turtles should be fed once every 2 or 3 days, as much food as they can eat in a few seconds. Hatchlings should be fed once per day with a more meat-based diet, again for as much as they can eat in a few seconds. This helps to prevent obesity, which can be a surprisingly common problem for captive turtles. It's a good idea to feed your reef turtle in a small tub to prevent too much mess. I don't think that's important. So, miscellaneous stuff. Reef turtles will try to escape when you pick them up and may resort to attempting to biting or scratching. Other than that, though, these turtles aren't aggressive. While they might not be the most attractive species in the world, they more than make up for it with their personality. Which, let's be honest, that's more important. They might not be great pets for kids because they shouldn't really be handled too often. The end. Dimension. And just links to all the great stuff.